Alright, for this week's featured match, we have Skill Drain Heroes versus Inzektors. Our player to our left is C Variant, and our player to our right is VastEric. Alright, so VastEric wins the roll, and he goes first. He opens up with a Pot of Duality, and his three cards are Forbidden Lance, Monster Reborn, and Duality. He adds Forbidden Lance to hand. And let's see what his next play is. Alright, so he summons his Armageddon Knight, and he activates the effect of Armageddon Knight. He pitches his Hornet to the graveyard. And he sets one card face down and passes turn. Alright, so it's the hero's turn. And he activates a MST to pop the back row, which happens to be the Lance. He activates E-Call, and he searches for his Stratos. He normals Stratos and activates Stratos' effect to search for his Neos Alias. He uses Stratos to attack into Armageddon Knight, dealing 400 life points damage, and passes turn to Inzektors. Alright, so Insector players go, and he summons a Dragonfly to the field. He activates Dragonfly's effect to return Hornet, and equip it, and pop a back row, which happens to be Starlight Road. Dragonfly's effect activates and special summons a Centipede. He activates Centipede's effect to equip Hornet and pop the Gem Sparks. Centipede's effect activates, and he adds a Dragonfly to hand. He overlays his Centipede and Dragonfly to make a Leviathan Dragon. He detaches his Dragonfly and attacks with his Leviathan into Stratos. Alright, so it is now the hero's turn. He draws a card. He summons his Neos Alias in attack position, and he activates Miracle Fusion. He fuses his Alias and his Stratos to make Elemental Hero the Shining. And he attacks with the Shining into Leviathan Dragon. He passes turn to Inzektors. Inzektors draw. Inzektors summon Dragonfly, and he activates the effect, equipping Hornet and popping the Shining. And he uses Dragonfly's effect to search for to special a Hornet. Then he overlays them into a Leviathan and attacks for 2,500. Alright, so now it's Hero's turn. They draw. They activate Pot of Duality, which reveals a Hero Blast, Torrential Tribute, and a Skill Drain. Heroes choose to add a Torrential Tribute to hand. And heroes set one card and summon a Stratos, which he got back from the Shining's effect, and he searches for another alias with Stratos' effect. Hero player set a card face down, And they pass turn to Inzektors. Alright, so Inzektors set a card face down, detach one material from Leviathan, and declares attack into Stratos. Alright, so it's now Hero's turn. And Hero summon a Neos alias in attack position and activates Torrential Tribute, destroying all monsters on the field. Hero set a card and pass turn to Inzektors. Inzektors summon Centipede. And heroes activate a Hero Blast, returning alias to pop the Centipede. Inzektors then tries to attempt to special summon BLS and realizes he has no targets. He passes turn to Heroes. Heroes summon Neos Alias, and he attacks with Neos Alias for 1900 damage. Insector player activates his Mystical Space Typhoon, popping a back row. Alright, so the Insector summon T-King and crash into the alias and passes turn to Heroes. Heroes summon alias and declares an attack for 1900. Alright, and Heroes then pass turn to Inzektors. Inzektors summon BLS by removing a Thunder King Ryo and a Armageddon Knight. Heroes activate Solemn Judgment, reducing their life points to 1800. Alright, so Inzektors decide to set a card face down and pass turn to Heroes. Heroes summon a Neos Alias and declares attack into the face down, which happens to be a Sanguine. He searches for a Dragonfly and takes 1900 from Alias. And he passes turn to Inzektors. Inzektors draw. And they activate Dark Hole, which wipes out the aliases. Insector player summons Dragonfly. He activates Dragonfly's effect to equip Hornet. He decides not to pop and attacks for 1500. Alright, so right here, heroes draw a card. They realize they have no more options for this game, and he forfeits and goes into game 2. Alright, game 2.